Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. It's good to see you. We got some notes to go over to talk about what those kids are learning in classes. If this is your first video, welcome to the studio. It is the start of a new semester, so I know we have a lot of new faces around there. My name is Allison Jensen. I'm the owner of Easel School of Art, and every Monday I go live on YouTube and I make you a video talking about what we are learning behind the classroom doors. Since we do have closed classrooms, I like to show you what the kids are doing. And so I have some project examples that happened in classes last week, and we'll continue to show the progress in all of those projects and lessons. So we're going to dive right in. If you're catching the replay, you can always watch via timestamps, and so that way you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just watch the part that pertains to your family, so you can watch your specific classes. I do recommend that you watch the intro and you watch the housekeeping as well. Okay, so speaking of intro, let's talk about the weather that's coming, because I've already gotten a number of phone calls and emails this morning. So just to be clear, I'm aware that there is some winter weather coming. Those Orange Easel veterans, you guys know we try to stay open. We really do. We rarely close our doors, because my thought is, depending on your drive here, depending on your comfort level, I want to be open for those people who can make it. I live right down the road from the Liberty Studio. I can walk if I wanted to. And I know a lot of other people live in our neighborhood too, and they can come to classes. And so we don't want to close if we can all help it. So if we can get here and have classes, we will be here. If you cannot get here, that's okay. If you are not comfortable driving in the winter weather, that's okay. If you drive an hour to get to class and you're just not going to do it in winter weather, I totally understand. You don't have to justify that to me at all. So we have a policy in place, regardless of whether it's winter weather that causes you to miss your class, or illness, or a band concert, or you just forgot. It doesn't matter. There are makeups every single week for our students who cannot make it to class, so that way we can get you your lesson that you missed. We can get you caught up on whatever step in your project that you need to do. So all of that information is going to be linked in the email that you get along with this video. It's under makeups. And you can also always find it on our website. There's a couple different places that you can do that. You can just bookmark the URL. It's orangeeaselart.com/makeups. Or you can scroll all the way to the bottom. In the footer, there's a little link that says for current students. And if you click that, it'll take you to the makeup page. All right, everybody. So let's see. Other things I need to talk about in the intro. For most of you guys, this is your week one. You'll notice that in my slideshow, it says week one. But if you watched last week's video, it also said week one. So you might be like, why is it week one again, Allison? It's because last week, the only people that started were our Thursday drawing and multimedia students. Everybody else starts this week. So we're going to go ahead and just call this week one. And I will talk individually to my Thursday people in each of the sections, because you will be the exception to what I said, right? So we're going to say, like, everybody's doing this in week one. Thursday people, you're going to be doing this because you're ahead of us. You're kind of ahead of the game for the month of January. And sometimes it happens because ideally the month starts on a Monday, but it just rarely does. You ready to dive right in? So I'll check my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, here we go. Let's talk about preschool fundamentals. I'm going to move over a little bit so you can see my pictures. This is our light and dark month. It is one of my favorite curriculums that we do. We're going to explore the concept of contrast and light and dark. We get to play in the dark. We get to trace shadows. We get to use UV reactive paints. We're going to kick off our month with Where the Wild Things Are. So if you don't know that book, it's a book about an imaginary world and some kooky monsters. And we're going to do some wild rompusing in the studio. They will make crowns to do their wild rompus. And then we're going to also do some landscape art. We look at landscapes. We started that last month in December with our project, the one that had the trees in it and the snow paint. We started talking about landscapes and horizons. We're going to continue that this month. We'll look a little bit at the art of Vincent van Gogh, and we'll do a lot of world building and landscape in classes this month. Multimedia classes. Are you ready? So all of my multimedia classes meet this month. It is acrylic paint month. So we're going to go through each and every single one of the projects that are happening. But I do want to make this note. We had in our Thursday classes, a number of kids wear their beautiful Christmas clothes. All the new outfits they got for Christmas to class. And I want to make sure people know, like, the paint we're using this month is not a washable paint. It will not come out. And so please wear old clothes or art clothes to class. If you have an orange Easel t-shirt, you know, just wear it every single time you come to class. We also recommend that you wear art bottoms. Because although you think that like a paint shirt should cover it, and we do have paint shirts, it's really, I do it, right? So I get paint in my hands and my first thought is to wipe them off on my pants. Like, it's just, some of us do that. So wear like full art ensembles. And then once you, if you forget, once you get paint on it, I guess maybe that could just be your art clothes, but do wear art class clothes to class. Like I said, we can throw paint shirts on the kids. We usually give them the option of wearing a paint shirt. It's never required, but that's just a t-shirt. It doesn't cover everything. Okay, my K1s, my second thirds, and my K through thirds are doing this giant painting. So if you've seen social media, these are 24 by 30 inch poster size multimedia papers. And so our first step, you can see this little artist here was doing the first step. This is a Thursday night class. A lot of it was done on the floor because they are so big. As they move throughout the month, we will get them on the wall, so they will work vertical. Excuse me, and then they will also work flat on the table. So we kind of move all over our room. Each week will be a different layer. So this is layer number 1. So if you're in a Monday class or a Tuesday class, this is what you will be doing in your multimedia class, is covering the entire thing with a layer of paint. And we're using some unusual painting tools this month. This one right here in the first layer, we're using a card. It's probably a hotel key. My parents do a lot of traveling and they save all their hotel keys for me. So this is, they're like, look, we have more paintbrushes for you. And they hand me a stack of hotel keys. So we use a lot of old Starbucks gift cards and different things to go ahead and scrape paint the whole background. They worked in a set of analogous colors. So those are colors that border each other on the color wheel. So you can see in here, it's blue and green. So right next to each other on the color wheel, right? And that we do that because those two colors, when they mix up, make another color that isn't brown. If we had like orange and blue, which are across the color wheel and are complementary colors, then we make brown. So every single week when they come in, they will pick a color palette that will be analogous, meaning it's not going to mix up and make brown. Their previous layer will be dry, and with acrylic paints, it doesn't rehydrate like watercolor does. It is set and solid, and so whatever we put on top of them, it doesn't mix with the wet paints. So that way, all of our colors stay bright and vibrant and controlled. They came home and they were like, I wanted to use paint, but my instructor wouldn't let me. It's probably because they already had green, wet green paint on their picture, and the instructor will say next week you can use pink, because we don't want pink and green to mix up and muddy up all of those beautiful colors. So just so you understand how that works, because if they can't use it, it's just next week they'll pick a different. So if you, let me make sure. So if you're in my Thursday class, you've already done this step. If you're Monday, Tuesday, you will be doing this step. Thursday, people, your next step on your giant picture will be with large rollers and big sponges and getting blocking in organic and geometric shapes. So we're going to talk about organic and geometric. Oh wait, I thought I had a slide for my but I don't. All right, let's talk through the bigger kids. So my 4th and 5th, my homeschool classes, they are painting on 11 by 14 inch canvases. The K-thirds, you guys, I probably will never have a picture like in the video that I hold up. I will try to get photos here, but they're so difficult to bring in here and show in the video. The other reason is they're very like packed up, organized in the closet. I don't want to pull them out. They don't fit in the cubbies. So we have to figure out a different organization system. But for the other kids, I'll try to grab paintings throughout the month. So my 4th and 5th and my homeschool kids are doing pet portraits. A lot of steps involved in this one. They have pictures that they brought in, and then their first step is to draw their portrait on their canvas. Now, one of the things we have to accomplish before we even get to this stage is understanding what a portrait is, right? So a portrait is shoulders and up, which for some of our kids is hard because they want to draw legs, and you're like, no, shoulders and up. It's a portrait. We've got some portraits starting to be drawn on the canvas. This was their only task for week 1. So if you're in a Monday or a Tuesday class, that is what your job is to get your pictures set, to figure out what your subject is going to be, which sometimes just decision making takes some time, and then get it drawn on the canvas. And so that way in week 2, so my Thursday people who are at this step, in week 2, your job is to start blocking in colors. So we're going to look at what's the main color in his ear. We're going to just cover the whole thing. We'll worry about tints and shades and shadows and changes in hue and texture in weeks 2 and 3 and 4. In week 2, we just want to get the colors in. That's what's going on in our pet portrait class. Monday and Tuesday, kiddos, I sent an email out on Friday talking to you about the actual photographs, the photo references that the kids will be working from. If your kid's like, I'm going to paint an alligator, you don't have to bring a picture of an alligator. We will look one up here on the Google or on Canva or on Clipart or something and find one and then print it for them. If you are, if you're doing like your pet, then we do recommend that you bring one in. If you don't have a printer at home, there was a link in my email that I sent that you can submit it to us and we will get it printed for you. So hopefully you got that. If not, it'll be in the notes section of this video as well. Let me double check and make sure I got everything. I did. All right, my big kids, my 6th, 7th, my 8th through 12th, they are doing disco balls. So this is actually mine that I painted over winter break. It goes this way, I think. Yeah. So I painted it over winter break. It has a sawtooth hanger on the back so that it can hang up. So this was what I did to play with the curriculum. Now, our first step in the project for our Thursday people, the first thing they did was get all their grid lines gridded. And then they got the underpainting done. So we got our first coat of paint. You can still see the lines through it, which is great. They will start working on a value scale. So that's the next step is where is the highlight? This is a sphere, right? It's a ball. So there should be a spot where it's like brighter and then a spot where it's darker. So they'll get the value scale done in their underpainting, and then they're going to start getting all of the fun little chiclets filled in. I said chiclets. I had my own teenagers come and help me test this project, my kids, and they didn't know it. A lot of our kids only got this far. They didn't get the underpainting done. That's understandable. Okay. That's our goal. They've got a lot of painting to do, you guys. That is going to be one of those projects, especially for our perfectionists, that they're going to maybe want more time than just they have in class. And that's what those makeup sessions are for. Even if you don't miss the class, if you just maybe work a little bit slower or had a little bit slower start, we spent more time getting our gridding stuff done, so you didn't get started on painting as quickly. For whatever reason, if you just need more time, that's available for you as well. All right, now we can move on. Those are all our multimedia classes. Creative explorations, people. This is your first week of classes as well. So nobody in creative explorations had class last week, so I don't have anything to show you. But you guys will start this week. Remember, our creative explorations is a process-based class, and it is station-based. So it's child-led learning, where the kids in that class can work through all the different stations at their own pace. They can dive as deep or as shallow into those stations, and they can move through the space freely. This is our kind of our first year doing this class, and it was born of an understanding that not everybody learns the same way, and not everybody enjoys a class setting where we all sit down and we work together on specific steps and specific projects. And so this one allows for a little bit more freedom and a little bit more mobility. It also has a sensory component in there. It combines all of our curriculums. So it combines drawing, it combines multimedia, and it combines even some of the preschool stuff. So we've got some stuff in some lessons in contrast, some explorations in contrast. In these last two, we've got the landscape lesson that is in the preschool stuff. we've got some of our drawing. Can't figure out how to point. I would be a terrible weather person, you guys. The paper snowflakes and the drawing of snowflakes is in a drawing lesson this month. We've got some art history going on, and then also the media, which is our film media. Drawing classes. All right. So if you are in a Monday or Tuesday class, your first lesson with us is going to be what the Thursday people did last week. So I'm going to actually show some of the Thursday projects. I brought some of their journals with me, and then we'll talk about what Thursday people are doing this week. Okay. So 101s, let's talk about 101s. I don't have different slides for everybody, but my 101 kiddos, they kicked off their month with a combination of an observational drawing and some imaginative drawings. So what we did was I brought from home a whole bunch of kitchen supplies. So whisks, spatulas, potato ricers, like kitchen instruments. And then they drew them on a piece of paper, cut them out, and collaged them. Now, I had said we were going to make machines, but Miss Grace had them make robots, which I thought was really fun. So we've got all these wonderful observational drawings done in Sharpie. They're very illustrative. They the objective for this was to use our eyeballs and our powers of observation to draw, right? Because that is one of the skills that we have to have as a great drawer, is the ability to draw what we see. So we practice drawing from observation. I like this lesson because unlike this week's lesson where we'll draw from observation and we won't be able to touch it, this stuff is like where we could grab it and hold it and manipulate it and use all our senses before we actually draw it. So this one here allowed for a lot more manipulation. And then of course there was an imaginative component too, because we had to collage things together. This one, we really went crazy on some of the colors, which is great. You can see the bottom was green. I have a green screen, so you can't see the green. Isn't that amazing? Kind of an imaginative and creative way to use that stuff. So that was a fun one to kick it off. Monday and Tuesday drawing 101 classes. That's what you guys will be doing. My Thursday people, you're going to be drawing from observation again. This one is a still life. So when we say still life, that means something is set up at a like front table, and we're not going to touch it. Unlike where you grab a whisk and you look at it, and you turn it, or when we do botanical illustration and you can pull that flower and really study it. This is not that. This is going to be set, and it's not going to be touched, and you pick your spot and you draw what you see. We're going to draw a still life filled with winter gear, which is just so on point for this week. So we've got boots and hats and gloves and kind of an assortment mountain of winter gear that we'll put out and then draw that. They're going to be using oil pastels. This will be the first lesson of the year that we get to use oil pastels. So that'll be a fun one, and we'll show them how to use oil, baby oil, to smooth out their oil pastels if they want to, as a drawing medium. It turns it into a paint medium. It's really cool. My 102 people, let me turn my page and make sure I got everything. My 102 Advanced Realistic, we didn't have a Thursday class, so I got nothing to show you. Because both of the 102 realistic classes are Monday, Tuesdays. You guys will have your first class this week. Your first lesson is drawing winter, make sure I got it. Yes, winter landscapes from photograph. So when we draw from observation, sometimes we draw from life, is what the 101s did this week. And sometimes we draw from photographic reference. These will be from photograph. They are very colorful photos. I tried to make sure that they were wintry, snowy landscapes at either dawn or dusk. So we've got beautiful sky colors that are then reflected onto the snow. The goals for this lesson are that we have a foreground, a midground, and a background. That we understand the parts of a landscape, like horizon lines. And then that we also develop an awareness that white snow isn't white. I mean, it is, but it doesn't appear white. Visually, as an artist, it isn't. And actually, some of our pet portrait kids are going to find the same thing. Their white dog isn't white either. I mean, it is, but visually, from an art perspective. Lots of blues, lots of grays, even purples. And then My Drawing 102 comic and cartoons, we did have a Thursday class at Measure and Liberty. This month is our technical skills month. Remember all last semester we worked on character development. We broke down the figure and every kind of piece of the character. Eyeballs, ears, hair, clothing, everything. This month is when we tackle technical skills. And so we're starting with line weight, which is how thick or thin a line is, and we are practicing not only that skill in itself, but also how you use it and where you use it. So I'm going to show some examples here. I just brought one book, but you can see we printed as the exercise, we printed some clip art, and then our artists spent time adding weight to where they would add weight to their picture. So the thicker lines are the lines that our artist adds. You can see right here, they've got their light source indicated. So that way they could add their weighted lines there. So feedback that we would give this artist, not only the placement of their lines, but also the execution of it is getting a nice smooth line, right? As opposed to like a choppy, sketchy line. So those are things we're working on. It's very nitty-gritty. Is it like eye-opening and really exciting? No, but is it important? Yes. And so this is a good lesson. It's one we do every single year. And I'm not going to say that it's the kids' favorite, but it's like eating your vegetables and it's good for you. All right, so we did a line weight lesson. If you're in a Thursday class, you've already done that lesson, obviously. That's this book. You guys are moving on to another very technical, very nitty-gritty lesson, and that is adding value and how we use a black ink pen to make gray. And in our inking lesson, most of our kids are using Sharpies or Microns, which are only black, right? So how do I take a black pen and make gray shadows? If I don't want to use line weight and make super dark lines, then how do I make it gray? And there are 3 ways we're going to teach them. The first is cross-hatching, the second is stippling, and the third is called scrumbling, which is my personal favorite because I'm usually very impatient. And stippling takes forever. But we're going to practice all 3 of those, and those will make a value scale, kind of a gradient, and practice those technical skills. Again, it won't be eye-opening for most of them. They already understand it. They already know it. It's a matter of practicing those skills and critiquing them on how well they do them. 103 classes. None of our 103 classes met last week. We don't have them on Thursday. They are Monday, Tuesday classes. 103 drawing, comic, and cartoon are creating another 3-panel drawing. This one incorporates word art with character emotion. And so it's going to give us some typography, right? So creating word art, using not just handwriting it, but like how do you illustrate a word? And then creating a character who's also representing that action or that emotion. So we've got 3-panel artwork, 3 different words, 3 different character illustrations. So this week will be strictly brainstorming. They will be introduced to the project and then have to solve the problem, right? What are my words? What are my characters? My 103 Advanced Realistic, they have an interesting challenge this month. They're going to be doing light bulbs. And anytime you're dealing with something clear, you guys, it's hard. You got reflections, you can see through it. There are shadows, some of it's hazy. Your eyes play tricks on you. So they're going to do a still life using light bulbs, and we're going to do it on black paper using white chalk. So it's also a reverse than what we normally draw, where we draw on white paper and we put our darks in. This one will be on dark paper with lights in. So it should be an interesting one for them. They will set their own still life. So we have a collection of light bulbs. We've got a black still life background for them. They will very carefully set their light bulbs into whatever composition or arrangement that they want, and then snap a picture of it, and we'll work on the photo reference the rest of the month. For the first week, really the only like objective or goals that we have or benchmarks for them are to understand the project, create their composition, and get their picture taken. So if they get to drawing, we're thrilled, but for the most part, we just want to get set up for the month. All right. That is everybody. Look at that. We are rolling, you guys. Okay, a couple of housekeeping things before we rock into the 3 that I had on the slideshow that I made on Friday. Just want to reiterate that I understand there's winter weather coming. We don't intend to close. If we do close, go to Twitter, because that's where we will announce it. We'll also announce it on Facebook. We'll also announce it on Instagram stories, and we'll also announce it on Facebook stories. and then we will send an email out to all of our registered artists. That email will go to the email address that you registered with. That's the only one I have. All right. We try not to close because that's a lot of work. Then it stresses me out because then I worry that somebody's going to show up to class because we didn't get them on out. So I'd rather just be open and not deal with it. We don't intend to close. We totally plan to be here. But if we do, those are the steps that we will take. If you can't come to class, it's okay. We'll have makeup. All right. If you have fall semester projects that you have not finished, please sign up for a makeup and come in and do that. We're going to start sending them home with some of our kids probably in February. And just because we send it home with you doesn't mean you can't come back and finish it. It just means we're not going to keep it in our copies anymore. Summer 2024, the first sneak peek goes live this afternoon. My goal was 9 a.m. and it did not happen. So it'll be this afternoon. We'll get our first summer sneak peek out, and so that way we start to reveal pieces of what's coming up for summer to you guys. Those will be on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and then we'll also, it'll link to the website. So once it's on the website, it stays on the website, and then we'll just reveal a little bit at a time. Next Monday is when all of the programming is kind of revealed, kind of the big woo, here it all is, and that way you can start planning out your summer. Registration doesn't start until March 15th, so you have lots of time. We just like to get the information to everybody so that way you know what's coming. If you are a studio club member, you get to register first. That happens on March 1st. And then the last little bit is a student art show. I am about 2 weeks away from revealing all of the details on it. I do have I have 2 spaces booked, and I'm just waiting to hear from both of them. One of them's booked with a credit card on it, and one of them's booked but just a verbal contract, and that's the one I want. So I want to get this one booked with a credit card and this one canceled before I make any announcements. So I don't have to retract anything, but both. But we're really close to having all the details on the art show. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be different than last year. It's in a different venue than last year. Not better, not worse, just different, just to try new things. And so I'm excited for it. It is on April 21st. That is a Sunday. It will be in the evening, so afternoon, evening, 4 to 7-ish is usually the time that we look. It's come and go style, where you can bring the family and look at art and hang out and just enjoy the community. So mark your calendar for that. And like I said, more details are coming very, very soon. Every artist is invited to exhibit. It is an open show. It is not, it's not a jury show where you have to apply. I mean, I do require you to turn in an application, but it's not like we're going to say, you're not good enough, you can't get in. That's not that. We just need the applications. You know what to put on your gallery tags. All right. And I think that's it, you guys. That's everything I have. Just to reiterate, snow is not going to stop us, but if it does, check Twitter. That's the best place to go. Sound good? Hopefully I see everybody in class this week, but if you can't make it, it's okay. That's why we have makeups. Stay safe and warm out there, everybody. We'll see you soon.